fact that you even let him say this without him backing it up is actually disappointing from your end. I mean, it's actually a bit delusional and so hateful. The textbook definition of like pure defamation.
You think I'm a hypocrite?
You get the views, but it damages me. Are you sure about that? I mean, that's a pretty inflammatory statement. Are you sure?
Would you consider dating a woman chess player if she really truly believed you never cheated at chess? Here we are with my favorite chess player, the bad boy of chess, Mr. Hans Niemann. Hello, Hans.
Hello, Dina.
Good to have you back.
Honored.
For today's video, we have prepared something special, which is you guys. We have collected your questions to Hans, specifically from Twitter, and now we gotta make sure that they're answered.
Okay.
Maybe not. Actually, no guarantees, but at least the questions are gonna be asked. The first question here from Mr. James Altusher. What was your study routine during COVID that helped you improve so quickly?
Interestingly enough, I actually played a record amount of games during COVID. I played 261 classical games in 1 year, and that's not without rep and blitz. I think I had the record for players above 2,600. So I just played a lot. I immersed myself in the game. I didn't have a coach. At that point, I just played and learned. So when people ask you for advice, which every chess player does, it's honestly the only advice I feel comfortable sharing is to work hard, because chess is so individual that giving general advice to people can go very wrong. That's my honest opinion. Because anyone who tells you they understand chess, no one understands how to improve at chess. It's very abstract, at least at the highest level.
Would you consider dating a woman chess player if she really truly believed you never cheated at chess? But okay, we'll skip it. Okay, your reaction is enough. What are your hairstyle plans for the future?
I plan to grow it back out.
Really?
Yes.
You miss it?
Slightly. I usually let it grow for a while after I've shaved it all off. So maybe another 6 months.
Was there any particular reason you shaved?
When I was playing tennis, it would be really annoying if I'm sweating and get my eyes. Maintaining it's a bit annoying. Like you have to do if it's long and curly, you have to kind of like do all these products. It's more of a female thing.
You don't like female things?
No, I appreciate all beautiful things in the world.
From Master's Master, what is something you don't like about yourself that you are working on changing?
I don't like that I make mistakes in chess and that I lose. I want to stop losing.
Do you know the roots of those mistakes?
Some, yes. I think I want to be more disciplined in some respects.
What about your life outside of the chess tournament?
Kasparov was the first. I mean, he wrote a book, How Life Imitates Chess, and he talks about how your personal life or your daily habits can have a great impact on your chess. So I would say that exercising, having routine and some discipline can be helpful in reaching more consistency.
What about parties? Aren't parties and clubbing and gambling a distraction?
But you're assuming I do all these things. But you're making an assumption. Do I have such a bad boy image? No, I mean, gambling, I mean, really at a minimum.
Well, when I say gambling, I mean like playing like casinos and stuff.
I mean, very rarely. I've never gambled a significant amount of money.
Just for fun.
At times, yes. Not that I would endorse gambling as a.
Like some other creators do.
Perhaps but that's their decision and their responsibility to accept. Someone once explained to me that I asked them, so when I play tournaments, when I'm bored, I want to explore, or maybe when I was younger, I was a bit more into going out all the time. And they said to me, if you try to go against your nature, you use a lot of energy. So it's about finding a balance of embracing what's natural to you to retain energy, but also between, not doing things that can be harmful. Because, for example, there are a lot of players who naturally like doing certain things or not as, let's say, focused as some, or focus is, it's a spectrum. But then if they try to change their personality, it can have the reverse effect. So it's important to maintain the unique parts of your character and your talents, but also have some flexibility in adapting and learning and improving without sort of losing what makes you unique, because a lot of players will work so much on one thing, ignoring their strengths or focusing too much on their weaknesses and not on the strengths. I mean, okay, it's a whole philosophical thing, but that's my perspective.
I actually noticed that when you suddenly switched from screaming and like shouting on streams to like super close, super reserved, super serious, like professional chess player, was that something like a voluntary decision to go kind of against your inner self?
No, because obviously I was a lot younger then, and when you're a streamer and you're at home, I mean, I'm not the only one screaming. Like, have you seen clips of like Botez or Hikaru? I mean, these people have also raged once or twice. So you have as well. I mean,
I love it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but when everyone's at home and you're streaming, then it's fine. I mean, like there's some. If you want to create a clip compilation of any chess streamer, I mean, we can find like insane things they've said.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that was such a core part of my personality. I'm just very passionate, but I'm not gonna like win this tournament and start like screaming and like breaking stuff if I lose. Like, I prefer to do that in private.
Next question is the one you were asking for. Ben Feingold once said on our podcast.
So, I mean, I taught a chess camp in St. Louis where he was one of the participants. We had a meeting one day about whether we should kick him out of the camp or not. Matt Larson, my student, he's older than Hans, but he was actually at a chess camp with Hans, and he said they would show puzzles on the board, and Hans would have his phone under the table solving them.
This is so funny that you bring this up. Actually, the fact that you even let him say this without him backing it up, is actually disappointing from your end. First of all, the fact that I was kicked out of a camp is absolutely false. Interestingly enough, Greg Shahadi, the founder of this camp, has already refuted this on record. Yes, when I was young, there were some behavioral issues, but I was never kicked out. The point of me, the accusation of this engines is something that is not even he's claiming to have seen or observed himself. It's something that a student of his is claiming, which I mean is completely insane. Like, no offense to a student, but I don't even recall him being there. He was not a very strong player. And that is completely false. And the fact that you would say that is like, I mean, it's actually a bit delusional and so hateful. Like, Feingold, someone who said that, like, I will never beat 2700 again. Like, you can if you look at his interviews, the things he said are like, I don't know. But the funniest thing is that when things happened, he was actually my greatest supporter. And then he completely changed his mind. But I can't really take him seriously when he says things like that, because like, you can't just say things like that and not back it up with any evidence, or like, oh, there's someone, like, he's like, oh, my old student told me this, which happened allegedly 8 years ago. And because of that, I'm going to make an incredibly inflammatory statement. Like, oh my God, like, okay, again, that if I really wanted to, I could sue him easily, right? Like, that's literally the textbook definition of like pure defamation. But there's not, I mean, for me, I just ignore such hateful people who really have nothing to add other than like spewing this type of stuff. So, I mean, if I was you on that podcast, I mean, I would actually challenge him. Like, you can't just make statements like that without, so casually,
How should I?
And to say that about a 12-year-old, even imagine he's like 50 years old and he speaks about a 12-year-old that way. Like, does the guy have no conscience?
How should I have challenged him?
You should be like, are you sure about that? I mean, that's a pretty inflammatory statement. Are you sure? He's like, and then you'd say, no, it's just a joke. But he likes saying these types. I mean, you press him on this.
I did press him on Levy. Like, and
what about Levy?
Like, when like Levy will never make a GM, and I did like.
No, but come on, we're comparing this to mine. Like, that's an undeniable fact. No offense to Levy, but we're comparing this and not, like, no offense, but like, I mean, to compare someone who never become grandmaster to accusing them of such something like so ridiculous. Come on, like, let's not compare.
Okay, well, he did say that he was actually doing that on purpose because when you shit talk a famous person, it gets views.
Yeah, but why are you entertaining disingenuous behavior? Like it's because you get the views, but it damages me. So it's just not like honest to allow someone to make a inflammatory, blatantly false statement because you benefit from views, but you should consider the consequences of what the person experiences who's experiencing those statements. So we should be a bit more empathetic when we allow people to make such statements unchallenged, because there are people behind accusations, as we, that's an important thing in chess. We should learn that when we say, possibly very hurting things to people, it can have, thankfully, I have continued my chess career as an important statement for all content creators, like this clickbait, all this blah, blah, blah. Come on, let's focus on some truth and facts.
Do you think that was hypocritical?
From you, yes.
You think I'm a hypocrite?
No, I'm not giving you a soundbite. I know how you little YouTubers operate with your clips. I know what soundbite you want. But I think that I can't be late to the technical meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to go now.
You're just leaving me?
Yes, I can't be late to the technical meeting. Okay, I have to go here. I got a message already. Dankeschön. Paka paka.
He just left me.
Stop wasting your time with random opening traps. They don't make you a better chess player. What does? One-on-one guidance, group classes, and a complete training program designed specifically to your level. Try my Russian chess school for free for 7 days and see for yourself.